What's up, YouTube? Back here again with another video, and yes, today we are doing a full-on build of the Smooth Operator. And listen, this is my third catalyst frame. Alright, both of my frames are still flying. So this is my third catalyst frame. I got the massive droner, okay, still ripping, still flying, great little frame. And I got this guy, this little old relic, and I still have it flying. This is the Speed Addict. This is one of my first videos I did. You know, they fancy themselves as more racing frame designers, which is cool and all, but, you know, this was a freestyle frame, and this thing was fantastic. Look at it. It's still flying. It's a unibody plate design. This thing is still cooking. Yeah. So, anyway, let's move on to the Smooth Operator. Now, I was going to do a full build video, but this guy is very difficult. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of stop in at the different locations I'm at, show you what I have going on, and maybe they can help you put it together. If you're going to do this, I would recommend getting the parts that they recommend and following their. They have a really good build video. But this one is a little different than what we're typically used to. Just a flat bottom plate, flat top plate. You know, self-explanatory. So here's where I'm at. This here is the bottom plate, right? So this is the front, okay? And this is, again, I'm kind of going along and figuring out as I go. So if I make a mistake, I will correct it later in this video. So just hang on with that. But anyway, so where I'm at now is this is the front. This is my 4-in-1 ESC here, and then my flight controller here. Now, this is the newer Acon, I guess. Now they did the video of the Acon 32, but I think this is the Acon 3235 amp, and I thought it was going to lay out right, but it ended up not. So this one is supposed to go with the pigtails back, and that kind of just creates some problems. So I put it this way, and this is the way they recommend. And if you get the right Acon, it will actually lay out correctly. So you got motor 1, 2, 3, 4, but this one didn't. No big deal. I just pulled the wires out of the clip here and rearranged them, so I didn't have to mess with software remapping. So that should work. But again, you have to pay good attention to your layout and how this is going to fit. And then they use the Pyroflip 4-in-1, but I'm going to use this Acon or F4 flight controller, not 4-in-1. I'm going to use this Acon F4 flight controller. This is an all-in-one, so you could use ESCs with it, but I'm going to use Acon and Acon. So we're going to see how that works out. Now, so yeah, so this is the layout where we got. Okay, this is where we're at. ESC, 4-in-1 ESC here, flight controller back here, and then they get you to mount the motors to the arms, and then I got a piece of heat shrink. So I'm using these Sunny Sky 2206. We're going to check those guys out. So this is what we got. So this is where I'm at. I'm going to keep going along, and I will check in shortly, and we will go from there. So, but I do got everything. I got the, the GoPro holder and everything, so there you go. All right, that's where I'm at. Let's keep on building. Okay, so here's where I'm at. Now, I had the motors kind of onto the arms already. I wouldn't recommend doing that because you have to actually use the screws that come with it and put on these braces. So back here is 12mm screws, and then for this front piece is going to go on, you're going to use 214 and 28. So see, I put those screws in just to hold them in, and so I got to move those around and put this front brace on. Okay, so you can see where I'm at. The front is going to be lower than the back, so you got the brace plates. Now I'm going through this, I'm not exactly sure, but these were 20mm screws that came, and I only had 4 of them. And then I had a bunch of these really long ones. These are even longer, and a bunch, but there was only 3 of these and 3 of these. So what one? I need 4 more for back here. I was confused, and then they were really long out the bottom, so I'm not sure where they go. So I kind of used some 20mm screws that I had. So these are all 20mm, but you got the spacers in the front on top, and then the spacers on the bottom and the back, and then our brace plate here holds the motors on. And then I'm going to put the the plate in the front with the 14s, and it's got the washer, so it's going to be a 14 and a washer. I'll show you that when we get there. And then we're going to keep on plugging along. But yes, this is definitely a tricky one. I recommend follow along with, go on their website. Link in the description for where you can find this guy. follow that video because that'll get you to build it correctly and you won't have any problems. So let's keep on going, and I will clack back in here in a second. Here's where we are with the build, and like I was saying in the last part, I was saying that the screws were really long, and I didn't know what was going on with that. But so this guy's going to go on here, and it's going to take up all that space. So the 20mm ones go in the back, and then the really, really long ones with a washer are going to go in this front section here under this. So if you're at the arm stage, put the short ones back here, the 20mm ones, and then the longer ones are going to go up here, so I have to change that around. And then we got this camera plate, so you got the bulkhead. You got the bulkhead right here. You screw it in with these are threaded Phillips screws with a little black washer. And yeah, this is where we're at. So, like I said, next is, I believe this guy's going to go in here, and we're going to attach this all up. And then we're going to have the pod for the camera. And then, no, there's not a whole, oh, look. Okay, so this looks like it's going to go in here as well. Some way. Okay, so that's going to make your top plate. Or is this going to go on here? No, it's going to go under. So this is going to end up going here. For me, it'll be this way. And then this is going to end up going back here. And we got some standoffs. So it kind of fits in like this. So, yeah, we're going to move it along now. Like I said, follow that video. Link will be in the description because you're going to have to pull. Once you put these screws in and you get to this point, and you're going to have to start taking them back out and changing them for longer ones. So, yeah, this is definitely an involved, crazy build, not for a beginner. You need to know your equipment and kind of how to lay this stuff out really, really good and really, really tight. You see there, I mean, I got my stuff all ran really tight. Got a nice little cable between these two to make it nice and easy. There's not a whole lot of crazy wiring. And then VTX is going to go here, and the receiver is going to go here. So I think we're doing good. We got a nice pocket there. So we'll get there. We'll get there, and we'll wrap this guy up. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm going to keep on going. Whew, boy, I'll tell you. This definitely is not a beginner-friendly build. Anyway, we are still moving forward. So, I believe since I checked in here, this is what we have. I got the camera sitting in the front, and I got the antennas now coming out the front, because the way this mount is going to go, your antennas are going to come out here, so you slide them up through the front. Now, this pocket down below is what's going to hold everything. So my camera wire, I ran it down below the ESC, back here, and then up through here, back to the top. Here's all the camera stuff. Here's my S-Bus and telemetry. And then here's my power and ground for the receiver. My receiver is also in here. Now I'm using an R9 Mini. I'm going to try to get the piece that goes on here to hold the crossfire, because I do have a crossfire antenna for this, but for now we're just going to run it this way, see how it goes. So you can see we got everything kind of tucked up in here, and then this space is going to be for the VTX. So you're not going to be able to put a big fat VTX up in here. So what I have here is a 20 by 20. So what's going to happen is these wires are going to come out the back. It's going to something like that. And then what my plan here is to slap this antenna on through the hole and somehow get this connected in here. Because I don't have the little, antenna that they want you to have. So, I don't know. We'll see. Because this is going to slide down in here. So I'm going to try to just slide it through the hole, basically like this, and then connect it to the VTX, get the VTX down in there, and then have this little guy hanging out the back. So that's the plan with that. Yeah, so pretty much your whole, it's a very tight build. It's definitely testing my skills for tight, like a nice tidy build. But we're moving along. We got this piece in here. This is going to hold the GoPro. This and this together is what's going to hold your GoPro mount. So pretty much all I got left now is the VTX. So I'm going to work through that. Once I get the VTX done, I'll attach these pieces on, and I'll stop in before we put the top plate, and the two top plate pieces and this plate. Now he talked about the USB. If you flip it upside down, you'll be able to get your USB from the bottom. But I didn't want to do that. I kind of, although being the fact that everything is running from the bottom makes it kind of easy. So this, when he builds it, all the wires are going to be sitting here, and then you'll just kind of solder them all and then flip the thing over. But I don't like doing the remapping. I feel like it's a pain in the rear end. Plus, this back panel is going to be able to come off with just a few screws, and you'll be able to access everything from here. And then I'll just take off a couple screws, you know, lift it up a little bit. You know, a couple plastic screws, lift it up, and then boom, we can get into that. So that's not too bad. I mean, you don't have to do that very often once you get the initial setup done. So that's where we're at. I'll be back when I get this baby pretty much buttoned up and ready to go. Like I said, I'll stop in right before we put the top plates on, and we'll go from there. Alright, I have this guy pretty much done. I just have to finish up, put on this back plate here, and I got to put on the Gopro mount, which I got to figure that out. I got to add a few more screws in. But basically, at this point, you can see what we got going on. So I was able to get this piece on here. Alright, press the standoffs in. Then I got that going through there, and then it goes to the VTX that's under here. All the rest of the stuff's under here, and now we got it nice and covered. We got this front plate on. So like I said before, the screws all the screws for these arms end up coming out. And then you use the longest screws, go through here. You got to press in the bushings and then put these little washers on, and then you put the long screws through and you catch everything and tighten it up. And then you feed your antennas up through here, and then the tube will go on. So the antenna tubes will go here. Alright, so we can do that. There is the other antenna tube. Now the build video that he has online talks about another press nut that goes in this plate that doesn't exist on here. Obviously they must have changed it. Yeah, so we're pretty much good. I've already plugged it in. I got my XT60 on here, so I have to put some heat shrink on there. I got my capacitor right here. There's pretty much nowhere to fit a capacitor up in here. It's pretty much impossible. So this is fine. This will work. I got it up in this grommet, so you're going to want to wait and put this on last. So once you get this all in, you thread it through and put this on last. It's definitely, there's not another build out there like this. Alright, because you have to do it in such a way, you know, you're going to, once you get this put together and then you finally get your XT60 on, now you got to plug it in and check your motor direction and everything like that. So you're going to have to know BLHeli suite and all that fun stuff. So I'm pretty much finished with this. I got telemetry, I got, I haven't checked the camera control, I didn't check that, but my smart audio is working, VTX is working, camera's working, everything is working. I had it spinning up, all the motors in the right direction now, and I even managed to do this. So we got a buzzer in there. So we're pretty much there. Now, like I said, all I got to do is get these two screws out, get this plate on, get the 6 screws in there. You can see this is all going to fit. This like fits in nice and tight. You might have to file some of the stuff out. I have to finish the heat shrink, and then the Gopro mount. This guy goes on here. Alright, you can see that's just going to go on those upper plates, and you're going to put screws through there, and that's it. I mean, we're there. One more strap right through here. You got to fish that through, which they give you. You get both straps, and yeah, there you go. There it is, the smooth operator. Now I know it's not a full build video. Hopefully my little tips help, because I definitely put screws in the wrong place. Because like you'll put the screws in here, and you just kind of get it started, and then all the screws have to come out. So keep that in mind. Yeah, follow that build video that's on the website, link in the description, and you'll be able to put this sucker together. But there you go. That's the smooth operator. I can't wait to fly it. I'm super stoked. I can't wait to try out these motors too. These are Sunny Sky Racing 2580 kV, so it's a little higher kV for me. These should be beastly motors. Got the blue with the purple. I don't know how I feel about that yet. I'm not the biggest fan, but it's what we got. So there you go. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys on the next one.